for NHS Change Day celebration 2014. Just the day of celebrating the massive efforts everybody across the country and even indeed across the world made for NHS Change Day 2014. And we've got Joe in Nottingham University Hospital. Hi, Joe.
Hello, hello. How are you? Listen,
Hi.
as people know, Nottingham University Hospitals Trust was one of the most active trusts in the country for NHS Change Day, and so we're delighted to be here on the front line with some of the management and the frontline staff here from Nottingham University Hospitals Trust. So if I could just introduce a few faces here, we have Tim. I'm gonna drop the beach ball for a minute here. We have Tim Geiler. Tim is the program director for Hospital Change here. We have Verity, who is a Change Day Hangout veteran from her after her efforts at Expo. And we have Rachel here. Rachel is one of the frontline staff, and we have Daniel Walsh. And so they're here simply to tell us about their own experiences of actually implementing Change Day on the ground.
Great. Okay. So I guess, Joe, if you want to take through and talk to people there as to what I'm interested in actually is what their motivations for getting involved in was. When did they first hear about Change Day, and what were their motivations?
Okay, that's right. Okay, so no pressure here, Rachel. No pressure. You're live on the web. Don't worry about it. Rachel, when did you first hear about Change Day and what motivated you involved?
Well, our Children's Hospital Hub, which is where we are today, were involved in the Trust Change Day. And I'd been thinking about joining Twitter for a while to help me in my role working with newly qualified nurses. When they talked about Change Day, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to pledge and actually do something that I'd been thinking about for a long time. So now I've put my pledge into practice, and I'm using lots of different methods of social media to engage with newly qualified nurses and increase the profile of Children's Hospital and get more people here working and retaining staff.
Brilliant. Well, what you don't know is behind your back early this morning, people are going, if you really want to know how to use social media, talk to Rachel. She's brilliant. She's done everything. So listen,
if that's the case, I'm getting there.
If you had to give any tips to people on the front line, say, I've never used social media before, I don't really understand it, what would be Rachel's top tips for NHS social media success?
I'd say just do it. So just join if you're part of Twitter, or if you don't join different Facebook groups, then just give it a go. It's not as scary as it might seem, and it opens up lots of doors, and you can talk to people of all different levels, and especially for newly qualified nurses, I'd say it's a great access for peer support. So yeah, just get on board.
Brilliant. Danny, if I could ask you the same question, where did you first hear about this madcap idea called Change Day?
So yeah, mine would be the same sort of thing. So our hub here and our change management area is really great, and it's just amazing in how they engage with people, and they engage with everyone around the Children's Hospital and kind of pull people into the hub and work in that way. So I got pulled in the same way, and once you're in, you don't escape. So yeah, I just recently returned from undertaking my Roosevelt Scholarship in America. So I was looking at patient safety and pediatric rapid response teams. So it just seemed to tie in really well that as I'd seen that and done all that work in that area to come back, and my pledge was to really take that forwards and do everything that we can to get a rapid response team here in the Children's Hospital.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, Verity, you had a really important, complicated Change Day pledge, didn't you, that involved mugs and tea bags and things like that. It is. Would you like to explain to people how you overcame the technological problem, what your pledge was?
So my pledge was to make a hot drink for the families of the patients that I care for, and I just implemented it in part of my morning cares, and just made them more cups of teas in the morning, took the edge off the scary experience of being in hospital.
Brilliant. Tim, if I could bring you in, obviously one of the challenges of senior management, isn't it, is how do we actually get frontline staff motivated and feeling empowered and all of that? And here we have three fantastic examples. I'm wondering from your perspective as a member of senior management and also driving through change, what lessons you might give to other trusts who are looking to sort of harness this idea that Change Day's been pioneering?
I think that's one of the really great things about Change Day is the answers in itself. I think too often senior management can be struggling to answer the question, how do we get people motivated and mobilised? And actually it's just about allowing someone and asking them to do it. At NUH here in Nottingham, we have a change program we've been running since 2009. And the focus of that has been trying to encourage people, train people, allow people to lead change. And Change Day was just a next natural step for that. But what was great, I think, about it was a couple of people came to me and said, we'd like to really be heavily involved in Change Day this year. And all I needed to do was ask the question, what do you need from me? I would like you guys to come to our chief executive team and you let us know what you need from us. So rather than it being the other way around, us telling somebody or encouraging them to do it or putting in a project plan or something, it was turning it around and just giving the allowance. And it was just that permission that then spread and spread and spread. They invited colleagues, encouraged colleagues, and we just had to back them, let them know it was important and to the trust and give them the time and allow them to do things. And the vast majority of the discretionary effort everybody puts in is well up and beyond their normal time because they were passionate about it. And as you said at the start, we're really proud that we're one of the top pledging places in the country, and we've had over 1,000 people who pledged to do something different, and that just comes from people who are interested and passionate being allowed to do it.
Yeah, and one of the things that's impressed us quite a lot about Nottingham was not just the amount of pledges. I mean, you made lots and lots and lots of pledges, but it's then the follow through. Because now we're in this period now where it's not just about make a pledge; it's now do the action. If we look at the pledges being registered as being done on the Central Change Day website, I know that Nottingham is absolutely up there in terms of we're doing it, we're reporting the outcomes and all of that. Now, I was wondering if you'd like to say a few words about how in Nottingham you're doing the follow through into real actions and outcomes.
So again, I think there's two things with that. The first is if people choose what they want to do themselves, they're much more likely to do it. And so that's going to be more successful anyway. But it was part of, from a senior management perspective, reiterating that we were really interested in this and we were really up for it, and it meant a lot to us because it meant a lot to our staff. So the discussion that we had with the colleagues planning it is, what do you want from us and how do you want us to follow this up? Because we do want to come and visit areas, ask how it's going. We want to be interested because we generally are proud of what you're doing and want to hear what you've achieved through it. So we've held some trust board events prior to trust board with the non-exec directors and the exec directors, learning directly from colleagues. We've had visits to areas who have done some exceptional things, and it's the people often say the currency of leadership is time, and it's creating that time to go to people and say, I'm really interested, tell me about what you're doing, please. And people are very, very proud to do so.
Yeah. Now, Tim here has said a couple of times, we had some people in the trust who really wanted to make an effort, and they came and told me we want to do this. And I'd like to actually, at this point, bring in the person who came and got Tim, or one of the people. This is Kate Pound. Kate, here you are with your senior management, your frontline staff. You're live on a Change Day Google Hangout, and it was you what badgered them into doing it. So how do you feel on Celebration Day?
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of the staff and the organisation. It's just been overwhelming. Change Day at NUH. Staff have just been so willing to get involved and engaged, and really passionate about making a difference for patient care.
Yeah. And again, if you had a team centrally in another trust who are looking to, how do we do it the NUH way? How do we actually do it? What would be your Kate's 2 top tips for how to do it?
First of all, find some really keen people that are passionate about improving patient care, get them engaged, and then take it from there. And people are sharing their pledges, and that encourages other people to then make a pledge. So it's that pass on a pledge. Get somebody to make a pledge and tell others, and then say, well, what's your pledge? Yeah. And it just rolls on from there. And the more people you talk to about Change Day, the wider it spreads.
Brilliant. Now, Ade and the central team here, the obviously there's as part of the regional and national success for Change Day, one of the innovations we had nationally was the idea of the hubbies, these fantastic young managers who volunteered and came across and organised the regional stuff, and we even got a hubby, would you believe, here today. Come on in. Here's
one
our
of the
hubby.
best. One of the best. Joe, you've got one of the best ones there. Liam.
You say that's all of them, Eddie.
So listen, you're not even an East Midlands hubby, mate. You're a carpetbagger, but
I can't take any of the credit for all the great stuff that's going on in the Nottingham University Hospital. I just wanted to come up here today and see what was going on, see how all the engagement happened, and just hear about all the stories that really inspired a lot of other people around the country. So that's why I turned up today. I was actually facilitating the southern region, which has some great stories as well, I'm sure you're going to hear today. But because I'm based up here at the moment, I wanted to come and hear about all the great stories and how they're inspiring other people and other trusts across the country.
Right, obviously, well, no. So that's the story of Nottingham. Now, Change Day has done some remarkable things, some really groundbreaking things. But there's one little thing here that we're quite proud in the East Midlands of our football teams. And one of the things it's actually managed to do, those of you who know me, I'm a Derby County fan, okay? Tim here is a Nottingham Forest fan. We normally don't speak to each other. So Change Day has even brought together Derby County and Nottingham Forest in one room. And then, so if there's anything
Imagine.
that Change Day can do, bringing
Great,
together Derby County and
great.
Nottingham Forest, Tim. So listen, that's the story from the front line here. We're going to be spending the day here. We've got a whole day of celebrations. We'll be involved in the things that you guys are doing nationally. And we just like, on behalf of the staff here, we just really like to thank the central team for giving them the opportunity to share some of their ideas and share their experiences.
Hi, Joe. Just before we leave you, you mentioned, I think it was when you were talking to Tim, about the follow through. And I just wondered if you could maybe ask some of the team about the impacts they've seen with the pledges, and also another question as to what they think could be improved or what they would do differently for Change Day 2015.
Okay, who wishes to go first? Tim, off you go.
I think there were two questions. One was impact and the other's for next year, just breaking up a bit, so just make sure we're understanding it. I think in terms of impacts, there's two things. We'll be able to describe some of the very specific tangible impacts. So each of us individually could say, this is my pledge and this is what I did. And I think the great thing is multiply that by 700,000, is it now, the pledges that have come across the country? And that's a huge cumulative effort of change, of impact. There's a risk as well, I think, that there's a focus on, unless we can truly show very specifically what this is doing, it devalues it. I'm a strong believer that actually most of the benefits of this are actually going to be the unseen this year, but in the next couple of years will become very, very apparent. And what we've seen from our own internal change program is that some of the things you can't capture this year, which are about people truly believing that they can be involved and they can make a difference, colleagues finding some of the people who are like-minded, who they hadn't met before, who now they come together as teams and they'll talk and they'll start unblocking things. Over the next year or two, what we have started to see is we have started to see the ability for change to happen much, much more rapidly because people have made connections, they're passionate, they believe in things, and they've been allowed to do things. So I do think there's a strong untangible about this, but I think we will hear those stories over the forthcoming months, the forthcoming years. And in terms of next year, I don't know specifically what we could aim for, but all I would suggest is that we should challenge ourselves to be even more ambitious than we have this year. And I think actually we've had 700,000 people who have come and said what they would personally want to do. I think there's 700,000 plus ideas out there as to what they think could be even better, and if we ask them, we'll get some great ideas.
And if I could ask our frontline staff here, Daniel, what personally has changed? How have you done something differently, did you think?
Well, now I'm currently writing a business case for the rapid response team, which is really amazing, and it's really changing not only my working life, but hopefully it'll change the children's hospital. And then through Change Day, I was able to do the Health and Care Radicals Change Agent course, which has been really integral within the business case, so making sure that I'm using those skills. So I didn't only pledge, I actually was able to take something back out and develop in my own personal learning through Change Day. It's really good.
Fantastic. Rachel?
I think my pledge is going to continue going. So, like I said earlier, I have initially joined social media, but it's now looking at different ways and innovative ways of how I can take that forward. I think because the group of staff that I'm working with that are coming straight out of university, that's going to go to an all-graduate curriculum here in Nottingham. So we're only going to have one intake of nurses. We're going to be competing with other hospitals around the country. And it's thinking how we can still use that social media to get out to people that are using these forms of communication, and actually let them know what we're doing here at Nottingham, and just carry on attracting people to come and work here.
Brilliant. And Verity, what's been the personal impact other than repetitive strain injury from making lots of tea?
I think for me, Change Day has really kind of sparked an enthusiasm and some real motivation in me into going with the small things, and that they do make a big difference. And together as a team with all our individual pledges, that we can change the world a little step at a time, and we're incredibly proud of it. And just to encourage other maybe new starters and stuff to get involved next year and things like that. So just kind of rub my enthusiasm off on people, I guess.
Right, Ade, across to you, mate, for the final word.
Thank you, Joe. Well, it's great to hear the personal impact. I think that's one of the most important for me that it's having. So people developing their skills, making business cases, developing new skills, but also that will help with the delivering better quality care for patients, because better skilled staff will give better care. And it's great to hear also the optimism for next year, because I think although we want to celebrate what we've done now, change is a continuous thing, and so we are going to start sort of thinking about what we want to do next year. And it's great that we have a hub, we have a very active region in Nottingham that will support and will deliver more for Change Day 2015. So I just want to thank you all for joining in. I want to thank you, Joe, as well, for putting it all together, and Kate up there, and Liam as well, just moonlighting all across England. And I think we'll end it here and join the others on the WebEx Jam.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, bye-bye from Nottingham.
All right. Bye, everyone. Cheers.